Hey, what's up, guys? This is Jordan Crook with TechCrunch, and today I am here with Jim Lucchese, who is the CEO of Echo Nest.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
All right.
Awesome. So, why don't you tell people who don't quite know yet what Echo Nest is all about?
Sure. The Econist is a music data company. So we're obsessed with the connections between people and their music and all of the data that basically sits between that. How music sounds, the cultural attributes of music. And so the company was founded by two guys who got their PhDs in music information retrieval. And we're basically analyzing audio to understand musical attributes like tempo, pitch, time signature, and then the cultural attributes of music. So what you like, what your friends like, the language you use to describe music. And we take all this data and basically open it up for app developers to build smarter music apps.
Very cool. So, you guys are actually playing around with some of the big guys right now. Most
Yeah.
recently, Vivo, right?
Yeah. So,
And who else?
so we announced a partnership with Vivo about a couple weeks ago. We also work with Clear Channel. We work with Nokia, work with MTV, work with Spotify, work with Mog. So we work with a lot of the streaming services. We have, a couple of dozen what we call kind of, big media company customers. And then we also have a community of about 13,000 independent app developers who are building like iPhone apps and other
Right.
kind of cool music hacks.
So, we've seen like that big data is like synonymous kind of with the enterprise, and obviously it has a lot of value in that space. But I mean, what does big data mean for the music industry, and what does it mean for the end user?
Sure. I mean, in the end, I think what happened when there was a conversion to digital is basically people got plopped in front of 20 million songs. And if you're in the business of sitting between any one of those people and the 20 million songs, your problem's even worse.
Right.
You've got 1.8 billion people on one side and 20, 30 million songs on the other side. And we're really just about helping those people in the middle better understand all of that music and better understand all those music fans to create a more meaningful connection. So it's really about based on, like, give Vivo, for example. We're doing two things with Vivo.
Okay.
One is we built a playlist engine, basically, that given any song in the music video in the Vivo collection, we can generate a playlist based on that seed song or artist. But then we're also helping Vivo understand you as a music fan through software that analyzes your music library and basically gets an overall understanding of you. So in the end, there's a lot of technology there, but really it's just about helping any application better understand you as a fan and better understand all this music to make better connections.
So, I mean, the big guys are obviously interested in working with you, and there aren't as many music recommendation engines out there that do it quite as well as you do. So, I mean, obviously you can't share with us the secret sauce or anything, but why? Like, what makes Echo Nest so different?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'd start by saying, I don't think we have the answer to what makes a recommendation. We just have a bunch of data that's applied in a wide range of use cases. So recommendation meaning given what you like, here's other stuff is an aspect to that. But like a good example, like you say you like the Beatles. What does that mean? Or you say you like U2. Ultimately, it could mean you like rock bands in Ireland. It could mean a lot of different things to different people.
Right.
And we've just got a really rich set of data and APIs to help better connect those problems. That's just one example of music discovery, though. What we're doing with MTV and the Music Meter, I think, is another example where we're analyzing all of the music activity that takes place on the web, every blog post, news item review, all the Twitter activity, social media activity, to come up with basically a dynamic chart of the top 100 artists that are creating buzz on the web, but that you've never heard of before. So it's another example where it's really not about similarity necessarily or recommendation, but just helping people make sense of all of the activity that's taken place to help them find music that they love.
Right. I mean, so when like social and pictures and all of those kinds of things are kind of like the sexy popular thing to get into if you're moving into the tech space, what kind of advice would you give entrepreneurs or anyone really who's interested in data and kind of wants to push that and make that part of their future?
Yeah, I mean, as far as advice goes, all I'd say is that what's helped us be successful is that the company is founded by people who understanding music is their life's work. So Brian and Tristan, the two guys who started the company from MIT, and myself when I joined them shortly thereafter, and now the 40 of us are all hardcore music freaks. Many of us happen to be big data engineers as well, but we're solely focused on music, and we don't go in the office every day thinking about big data as much as we do, and thinking about the richness and the complexity of music and music connections. And for us, that's what drives us more than I'd say the kind of parlance of our times, big data.
So I think that in your position, you have a little bit more insight than the rest of us. So my final question is, where do you see the music industry going in the next 2 to 5 years as it relates to big data? And also, what's up with EchoNest? What's next?
Sure. So I think I can, if we stick with 2 years, I think I can answer that in
let's stick with
thing,
2.
which is I think there's been a lot of focus on understanding the 20 or 30 million songs, so understanding the content,
right?
Because any application, that's a huge problem. I think we're just getting started in understanding the music fan, and so we are investing heavily, and I think you're starting to see more social music applications that actually understand your musical identity. I mean, you and I know that if you tell me the bands that you're into or you tell me about your music taste, I kind of know who you are,
right?
Or it's a really good proxy of who you are. And I think we're just getting started in really adding a level of intelligence to understanding people's musical identity, helping them connect with each other around musical identity, share their preferences and what they're into. And so I'd say that you're going to see a big shift and a lot more kind of innovation around understanding people's musical personality and identity going forward.
And what about EchoNest? I mean, do you guys have any news you want to share with me early?
Well,
what's next?
So I think you'll see us releasing a lot of new technology around how to better understand people, how to better connect people based on their music taste, and then all the other things that you can understand about somebody based on their music preferences too.
All right, Jim. Well, thank you for coming in. We really appreciate it.
Thanks.
And that is it for the EchoNest and Jim Lucchese.